Hello everybody, I'm going to do a formal analytical report presentation on artificial intelligence in the 21st century. My audience is a couple of colleagues from Lake Sumter, Valencia, and Stetson University, Blue. And let's get right into it. This is going to be formal, so you guys will be informed. Getting into it. Let's first ask ourselves, what is artificial intelligence? Well, artificial intelligence is very similar to a human brain, except it's in machine form. The study of it is basically creating and doing human tasks that are thrown up in the brain, but with machines. Now, the whole idea is, like I said, to mimic the brain. Getting into the early history of artificial intelligence, so you guys all know where it came from and how it got to the present time. We're going to start with how it's thought up of. As I said before, people thought how brilliant the human brain was and how similar it worked to machines. So in truth, they thought, why not put the brain into a machine? And that's exactly what they did. Back in the 1940s, 1940, they had created the first computer, which in turn started the idea of artificial intelligence. But it wasn't later made into a field until 1957. Now getting into that, the idea came from our brains, as I said before, and it was first made at Dartmouth College, which is a college which had been the leading college for artificial intelligence from, I'd say, the 1950s to 1990s. It led the world throughout this time period of such a new study. They were one of the best, as I said, they led the world, and getting into it again. There were many winters after this, however. Artificial intelligence died out to a grim winter. They call it the winter of AI, or AI winter. With such a time, it had been very low funding overall, and artificial intelligence just started to cease as a topic of interest. With no funding, everybody thought that it could die out, and no one really knew when there would be a resurgence in artificial intelligence. Now jumping to the next part, there had been a resurgence in artificial intelligence, but this had come 30 to 40 years later, and you know who had brought it back? It was Japan. Japan had started funding artificial intelligence, showing the world what it could do, and in turn, that made everybody else, all other countries, become inspired by this, and in turn, artificial intelligence had become a popular topic of interest again, which led to future funding. And because of this, summers began of artificial intelligence. The summers of artificial intelligence are the opposite of winters. That means that it was a booming time. Artificial intelligence began to grow from the 1990s and onward to the present, and it's still taking the world by storm. Everything you do has artificial intelligence in it. Every single company machine is embedded with it. Everywhere you look, there's some kind of AI that is very intelligent and smart enough, just like us, except for, obviously, it's not sentient because it's not, none of that mumbo-jumbo future stuff. It's just able to think of human tasks and do them as we do. Very, very specific and basic. Now let's talk about present day. I'd say present day would be within the last 5 years or so. Artificial intelligence is a lot different than what it used to be. As in before, like I said, during those winters, there was no technology to fully realize artificial intelligence. Now, because there's no actual technology involved for the time of the idea, nothing could have really been done. So getting into the present day, it's to be said that a lot of things have changed compared to back then. For example, we have voice recognition. Good AI such as Siri and Alexa can match your voices to basically you. They can only respond to you and listen to you. And as for voice translation, we can absolutely break the language barrier, as in we can speak into a phone that's very smart, an AI such as the Google one. For example, for a Google smartphone, which I'm using right now, if I were to speak a different language into the translator, it would replay what I said, but in the language I want it to be translated in, meaning that I could talk to any stranger breaking the language barrier. I wouldn't have to worry about what kind of language they're speaking or how they're speaking it. It would give a direct accent of how it should be spoken. And let's get into self-automation. Self-automation is a self-driving car. And now getting into self-driving cars, artificial intelligence can drive people point to point, place to place, wherever they want to be. It's still being worked on, as there have been a couple accidents, people getting hit and stuff, but that's because we cannot fully think of an idea of how to say, make it so that they can recognize an animal from a human, when to stop, specific things. But there's really a breakthrough in there. As for, actually this month, August, this is the end of August, there is Google, who are having a car for Valley Metro employees where they can take this car and test it driving to bus stops, to rail lights, to just about anywhere in that city, and they're able to test that, and if it goes well, it'll be made available to the public, meaning that maybe by the end of this year we could have public self-driving cars. Now, that is the future. The future is now. But what's beyond the future of right now? Just about anything. Artificial intelligence can do just about anything when it's fully realized, as speculated by many geniuses of mind, such as Bill Gates, Elon Musk. Anybody you ask who's basically a genius will tell you that the technology can go anywhere you want it to be. It can do anything you want when it becomes fully realized. Now that's the scary part. It raises concern because it can do anything. It's so brilliant that it's scary. It's not something we want to play with too much, something we may want to regulate, but that's another topic of discussion. And what should we worry about, as I said, of the discussion? Artificial intelligence is, like I said, it can do everything better than us. What happens when we create something that can outperform us? Madness. We will not be useful anymore. And now, obviously, since it's going to be doing more things better than us, it's going to get rid of people's jobs, which isn't good. A lot of people will become jobless from, let's say, many repetitive factory-like things where you just do something repeatedly over and over again. Now, that's a lot of people losing jobs. There's a lot of people in factories. I mean, just look at China. Now, getting into it, artificial intelligence also dehumanizes warfare. As in, the reason people don't want to be in wars is because they have to risk human life. Now, if artificial intelligence was made to pull the trigger to someone, the other person would have to feel the guilt of it, making it so that killing people or killing other things would be less valuable to them. It would be dehumanizing warfare. And now lastly, artificial intelligence isn't human. It cannot make judgments. It's not ethical. It's only logical. Artificial intelligence only makes the most logical reasoning, most logical choice. It is not like us. It can never be human. And now let's talk about the positives. Positives of artificial intelligence is that it can never have human error. It's void of error. It cannot make an error unless it was made to have made an error. So looking through data or just putting a pizza on a pan with robotic arms, anything like that, it's impossible to basically have an error. As we're humans, we can make an error by accident. We're only human, right? We're not artificial intelligence. We're not a robot. Also, like I said, artificial intelligence can do anything, so the positive is that we can do anything with it. The potential is not fully realized yet, and when it is, like I said, anything can probably be done. It's crazy. Now the conclusion, artificial intelligence does have its ups and downs, like I said. Getting into it can be a good thing and a bad thing. In the 21st century, all these things that I said could happen or could not happen. For example, Elon Musk had said that this would be humanity's last project. And by last project, I mean we're all gonna probably be in somewhere pretty bad afterwards. And not just that, Bill Gates, he's saying that we could create superhumans. Life that's in robot or whatever, artificial intelligence that can think more than us, do more than us, and just replace us overall. And that's why I think we should have some regulation on the topic. We should regulate this, but we shouldn't hinder the progress. We shouldn't take the reins away from it. We should control the reins on artificial intelligence. We should see how we can fully utilize it without destroying us, as in, outdoing everything, making us useless. There's a way I feel we could regulate it. With such a fast-growing technology that mimics the brain, it's kind of hard to figure out how to regulate it, but if we at least try, I'm sure we could figure out something in mind. But, this is just my opinion. I was making this presentation of mine for you guys to make your opinion. I wanted to inform all of you of artificial intelligence, how it's going on, its ups and downs, the history behind it, its winners, its summers. So, the decision's yours. You guys make the choice. Like artificial intelligence, you don't like it, or you have a middle ground. I hope I helped you make your choice clear.